Predators as an alien species are trash. After watching the first Predator movie and seeing this alien creature from another planet come on Earth in the 80s with all this high-tech gadgetry, camouflage, infrared, pulse rifles, all this thing going for it, and the element of surprise, and for that creature to lose to Dutch, granted, Dutch is the man, right? But after watching him lose to Dutch, I was like, these creatures are terrible compared to the xenomorphs and aliens. But my boy Steven told me, yo, watch the movie Predators. It's better than the first Predator movie. Better than the first Predator movie? Better than the first Predator movie. That's a high order because the first Predator movie had everything. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. As much as I like to act like I'm a great cinephile and I love a high quality movie, I'm an action junkie. Give me sweaty men, shirts off, oiled up, explosions, monsters, fist fights. That's my shit. Give me all of that and I'm in. So when he told me this movie is better than the first, I'm going in this movie 100% blind, haven't seen anything, and I pull it up and it's starring Adrian Brody. For some context, me and Adrian Brody don't have the best relationship. Besides the fact that he looks like Andrew Schultz, after watching him in Splice where he fucks this thing, I stopped the movie right there. I stopped watching Splice and I've never watched another Adrian Brody movie again. So that the fact that he's starring in this movie, red flags off rip. But you know what? I said I'm gonna watch it, so I watch it. So I start watching the movie, and the movie starts off, and Adrian Brody's character wakes up in free fall. And I'm like, holy shit, this is how we're starting the movie, jumping right into the action. Because again, I'm an action junkie, and the fact that this movie starts off in free fall lets me know this movie's gonna be high octane, high intensity. Now, Adrian Brody's character wakes up, turns on his parachute, and crash lands on this forest. And the first person he runs into is Machete. And I'm like, Danny Trejo, Machete's in this movie? You guys don't understand. My relationship with Machete, Danny Trejo, stems back from when I was a kid. I saw Desperado, and Machete was Diego before Diego was a thing, throwing knives. So every movie he's in, I know if he is not the main star, he's a supporting actor, it's not a comedy, he's in for some badassery, right? After him and Adrian Brody's character go at it for a bit, someone interrupts them with a Gatling gun. They go around and they ambush him, but they don't kill him. And I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. We're uniting badass characters because they're gonna fight predators. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm hyped. I'm super pumped at this point because I see a clash coming. So I'm like, okay, so if they're uniting characters, that means that they have to fill out all the pastiches and they have to have a badass girl character and cue the girl. Now I'm like, okay, this movie's oozing badassery. But for them to actually go ahead and finish this group, they need a black guy, of course. They need a racist rapist, and they need a nerd. And lo and behold, Mahershala Ali as the black guy. And when I thought of a racist rapist character, tell me why this guy came to mind. Tell me why Coggins came to my mind. I don't mean to be that guy, but just look at his filmography and look at the amount of characters he plays as weirdo, racist, rapist, weirdo, creep bastards, right? This is his shit. So when I thought about this is what they need, he shows up. And now this movie is cooking and giving me everything I need. All we need now is a nerd. And then Eric Foreman comes in. This movie has Eric Foreman. So now we're cooking. Now the crew's together. Now we have to hunt some predators. So now these guys are walking through the forest, not knowing where they're going. And they're just exploring with all these weapons that they landed with. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Adrian Brody's character is a badass. And he's just taking charge. And I'm sitting here like, Adrian Brody? Okay, I'm buying it. He's telling me badass leader who's gonna have a change of heart sometime during the movie, and he's gonna go and help the guys, even though at the beginning of the movie he starts off cold and he's more about the action than everybody else. Because you know this is the typical action movie, but again. So at this point, Adrian Brody's character is just sick of everybody else and he's gonna go off. And something that was really weird to me in this movie is like, he's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You guys are holding me back. I'm a badass, you're not, I'm leaving. And the girl goes,
wanna see something fucked up?
He's like, yeah, I want to see something. Like a complete 180 from his badassery. Like, fuck you guys, I'm out. But if you have something cool to show me, I want to see. And we come to find out that these characters were chosen because they're all killers except for the nerd who's a doctor. And of course, the predators would choose somebody as a doctor to help their prey because predators do one thing. They hunt people, and all these characters were chosen because they're killers. You have soldiers, you have Yakuza members, you have cartel members, you have serial killers. So of course you need a nerd doctor. That's why Eric Foreman's here. But then we find out that not only are these guys on this planet, there were other human beings here who set up traps And then there are these cages that were released in the forest. And now I'm like, okay, this is a preserve. They're not here to hunt the predators. They're the game, and the predators are gonna hunt them, and they're aware. You see, that's the problem I had with the first Predator movie. This creature comes from space with all this high-tech gizmos and gadgets, right? And he's supposed to be this apex predator, but he's picking off unsuspecting victims, and that doesn't prove you're a badass. Like, because at the moment that you had to go one-on-one with the Great One, Dutch kicked your ass. So you're not badass. So the fact that now they're aware that this is happening, I'm like, okay, the predators are badass, and then they stick their dogs on them. And I'm like, you guys are apex predators, and you're sending your dogs to weaken your prey. Did I mention at the beginning of this video that predators are trash? So at this point, all hell breaks loose, and these alien dogs are coming, and I'm like, these things are ugly as fuck for one. But the fact that they're wasting all their ammo shooting these creatures, I'm like, the predators, no. But then you get to see these characters shine in their own special way, each character doing their own thing. And of course, Eric Foreman's character is a coward, so he's running. But like everyone else gets to show their skills. But then at a certain point, Machete disappears. And then they find him. And Machete's dead. He didn't even throw a knife in this movie. I was disappointed. But I will say, even though Machete died, and I was super hyped for Machete, the fact that he died before the black guy, because we know how these movies go. We know the black guy always dies first. But the fact that somebody else died first, that's a win for me. Too bad it had to be Machete, but that's a win for me regardless. And Adrian Brody's character, being true to who he is, decides to leave Machete, and they actually leave him. And I'm like, okay, this movie is really cutthroat, and they're showing his character as a monster, almost as if the story and the deeper meaning of this movie is that the predators are not the monsters, but the humans are. Deeper meaning, I don't know. That's just my film brain analysis coming through because, you know, I am a cinephile. So as they continue on their journey, they find themselves in a valley, and there's a predator that has been strung up. And man, oh man, like predators are some ugly motherfuckers. Ugly. And I'm sitting here like, who tied this guy up? Like, I'm confused. I thought the predators were the ones hunting them, but then the predators are the ones who are being strung up, and bam, I spoke too soon. The second person to die was the black guy. Mahershala, we knew you well. But speaking of Mahershala, I realized something. Mahershala is super buff in this movie. Like, I didn't even recognize him at first because I was like, is that chunky, hunky Mahershala? So after the death of Mahershala, we find out that it's not just one predator, it's multiple of them, and they come after these guys, and it's a battle in the canyon. Mahershala's dead, the one predator is strung up, and then they're fighting, and they all survive. And I'm sitting here like, hold on, y'all snuck up on them with invisibility. Y'all only killed one person who is the black guy, and you're telling me that these guys are elite hunting alien machines? Predators are trash. How do you have all this advantage and only kill one person because you snuck him, but they're elite alien hunting machines? All right, whatever. I don't care, because at this point, full on action. I'm in there, they're fighting predators, they're jumping off cliffs, they're doing all this crazy shit, and I'm just like, more. Because as much as I'm criticizing this movie, I'm enjoying this whole ride. I'm loving everything about this movie, all the action. Granted, predators are still trash. I'm in there, I'm vested, and I'm wondering, there's 3 predators. How are they gonna kill them?
I'm gonna rape so many fine bitches. Be like, what time is it? 5 o'clock? Damn. Time to go rape me some fine bitches. Know what I'm saying?
I knew it. I knew he was a rapist. I said it. I called it, because all these movies have it. So at this point, they escape the predators, and now they're going to use Foreman as bait. And they have him run through the forest because, you know, Foreman's trash. Like, he's the nerd, so he's the guy that they dangle in front of the monsters. And they kill this creature, and it's not a predator. So at this point, you see that the predators are going to different planets, catching different creatures, dropping them on there, and hunting them for sport. Again, for alien species who thrive on hunting people and being the best apex predators, no pun intended. I haven't seen their success rate be super high unless they're sneaking on characters. But then a predator shows up and he takes off his mask, and it's Lawrence Fishburne. Holy shit, Morpheus is in this movie, and I'm like, how does he have a mask? And we come to find out that Lawrence Fishburne's character has been here for 10 cycles, and he survived by killing not 1, but 2 predators, maybe 3, taking their armor, and he's scavenging. At this point, my eyebrows are raised because if he is truly scavenging, why is he fat? Think about it. Like, my antennas went up because he says he's living off whatever he can find, whatever he can salvage, but then he's fat. So he's lying at this point, because if you're a scavenger and you're hiding and you're eating scraps, you don't have time to have a gut. Now, if he came and he looked like this and said he was scavenging, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I could buy that. You can't have a beer belly. You're running through the forest all the time. You're plump as shit, and you expect him to believe you. And after he takes him to his hideout and we learn more about his character, of course, I was right, because he tries to kill them. He's trying to steal their gear. The whole reason why he was there in the first place with his camouflage is he thought the predators were going to kill these people. He was going to swoop in, take their weapons, and continue living. Because you're never supposed to trust the guy who shows up in predator gear and is like, hey guys, I've been living alone for all these years, but come to my house and we can live in kumbaya it up. And I'm a scavenger. I barely have enough food for myself, but I'm fat and I have a gut. So at this point, he's trying to smoke them out, and Adrian Brody, being the badass that he is, fucking causes a massive explosion to call the predators to the ship. So at this point, Lawrence Fishburne's character realizes his plan's fucked up, and he's hauling ass, right? And a predator shows up and kills him, and I'm like, that's what you get. You finally got some friends, and you had to be a nigga. Can I say nigga on YouTube? Fuck it, I said nigga. You had to be a nigga and try to rob them. Way to fit the stereotype, Fishburne. Before he died, he did give us a bit of vital information. There seems to be a blood feud between the two warring predator clans. The bigger ones are feuding with the smaller ones, and it seems to be a beef between them as well as them hunting their prey. So it goes to explain, because of this blood feud, I see why they tied that one predator up and they put him up like almost like a trophy without killing him, as like a warning sign, I guess, to the other alien predator subspecies or race, because apparently even predators can be racist too. So I feel like that predator is going to play a bigger role in this movie. I'm not sure yet, but it's foreshadowing, and I can pretty much spot foreshadowing because, again, I am a cinephile. And to make Coggins' character even worse, right, I skimmed over the fact that he has a tattoo of a woman with some titties on him, right? And this is his sister. So not only is he racist, he's a rapist, he's also incestuous. Like, shit, my God, this guy's just a piece of shit all around, right? He's still alive, and Machete and the black guy are dead. I love this movie. I really do. Like, I'm ragging on it, but I'm enjoying the shit out of this movie because it's giving me everything I need. So after Lawrence Fishburne's character dies, the predator is hunting them to the ship, and he runs into the Russian, and he kills the Russian guy. And I'm sitting here like, you snuck somebody else. Like, and then to show you how trash the predators are, and almost as if to manifest my own distaste and my own lack of respect for the creature, the Russian turns around, spits on him, and then blows him the fuck up. So that's one predator down of the three that are hunting them. You had the element of surprise. They were confined in the ship, and you still died. A second predator shows up, and then the rapist does something badass and starts shanking him because, you know, he's a criminal, and I guess you can shank predators. So he's shanking him. That doesn't do anything. The predator kills him. He's gone. But like the fact that he actually put out a knife and was like, you're shanking a predator, like this is an apex hunting race of aliens getting shanked. But he buys them enough time to run away. However, of course, the predators are faster, stronger, and better physically than humans. So he pretty much catches up to them, and then the Yakuza tells them, go away. And now we have the most epic scene in the entire movie. And I gotta say this, if you don't see any other scene in this movie, watch this scene. Because this scene right here, if only for this scene, this is the greatest scene in cinema, predator history, predator cinema history, not cinema in general, because, you know, I am a cinephile. But not because of that. Because the pure badassery of this, it's like anime. It's like a beautiful anime sword fighting scene. Because the Yakuza pulls out his sword and the Predator pulls out his blade. They do the stare down. I want to say this. Early in the movie, we find out that the Yakuza man is missing 2 fingers. So he has 3 fingers. So he's technically holding the sword like this. So he doesn't have full dexterity of the sword. That's very important for the context of this fight. So they begin to do some epic anime clashes, and then the Yakuza guy kills the Predator. They do the running anime, and then the Predator falls first, meaning the Yakuza guy won. And again, it reiterates my main point that Predators as a hunting apex species are trash, because this guy is missing 2 fingers, so he can't even grip the swords. Like, try gripping a sword like this or try gripping anything. Like, it's not the same grip as this. So he's at a handicap, and a 1v1 with a sword, the Predator loses. Bruh, and then we just went through the whole movie understanding that every cycle they learn from the last cycle and they become better predators, better killers, better hunters. And you lose a 1v1 fight to a guy with a handicap who can't even fully grasp his sword? Jesus, as much as I love these movies, predators as an alien species are trash. A xenomorph would have destroyed that guy. But again, that was the most badass scene in this entire movie. Gold. The movie could have ended right there, and I would have given a standing ovation. Because that is great cinema. So at this point, there's one predator left, and there's 3 humans left, and they're running. Foreman gets caught in a bear trap, and he's trapped. And Brody's like, you know what? We're going to leave him because we have to go. The woman doesn't want to go, so Brody's like, you know what? I'm out. He makes it to the ravine. He frees the predator that was tied up and says, you know what? I freed you. You owe me a ride. Where's your ship? Send me to Earth. The predator that was tied up was like, you know what? You my dog. You freed me. Go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and fight the other guys. So the last predator shows up. He catches Foreman, catches the girl, throws her in a cage, and he has a one-on-one death match with the predator that was tied up. And I have to say, the predator that was tied up is trash because not only were you beaten before it tied up, you were freed. You got a rematch. You lost. And then you lost again and you died this time because you're trash. Because you're a predator. So at this point, this predator blows up the ship that was supposed to have Adrian Brody in. But of course, this is a typical action movie that gives me everything that I want. And of course, fitting in with the line, Adrian Brody comes back. And we find out that Eric Foreman was a liar. He's not a doctor. He's a snake, piece of shit, serial killer, psychopath, loser. And he betrayed them this whole time. Fucking Foreman. Where is Red Foreman to stick a boot up his ass? I was livid because she stayed to help you and you betrayed her. But Adrian Brody came in just in time, kills him, gives him much needed death. And then now we have the epic final finale, Predator versus man. I'm going to fast forward through this because we know how it ends. The Predator gets his ass whooped because, again, Predators are trash. Adrian Brody used the mud trick from the first movie, which I was like, call back, call back, call back. And he beats the Predator and all 3 Predators lose. And Adrian Brody's like, I'm a badass until the end of the movie. And it's a daunting end because they did all that and they look in the sky and parachutes are opening up. It's a new season. New people are coming and they're going to have to do this all over again. And the movie ends like that. And I'm like, holy shit. That's not what I expected. In my action movies, you kill the bad guy, you fly away, and you win the day. And you ride off to Rise of the Valkyrie music in the background because you defeated the monsters. But then more creatures are coming up and you're stuck on this planet until you die. Talk about somber. Talk about what the fuck, subverting expectations. And I have to say, after watching this entire movie, it's better than the first one because it took me on a roller coaster of emotions. Even though I didn't like the predator creatures, this movie itself had everything I needed, gave me everything. And then at the end, what a somber note. And I want Predators too. Anyway, guys, that's my review on the Predators movie. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.